Hello everyone, what's up? My name is Jason, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome to a different sort of video that I've never really done on this channel before. You won't be seeing my face at all in this video. Let me know in the comments if you hated this, or if you liked it, and if you hated it, I will never do it again, and we don't ever have to talk about it again. Alright? Sounds good? But basically, what this video is actually about is I wanted to react to the new Nintendo Direct that popped out of pretty much nowhere. The new Nintendo Direct was a live stream that was streamed on January 9th, 2020, and that was 2 days before I'm actually filming this voiceover. So, yeah. So it has been a couple of days, so I have seen the Nintendo Direct at least a couple of times, and I've also seen other people's reactions to the Direct as well. You know, I have my own thoughts, and then I have other people's opinions and things like that in my mind, and that kind of thing. But yeah, so I just wanted to share all my thoughts on that. You might be surprised in this sudden shift in content. If you don't know already, I'm actually a huge Pokemon fan, and I have been for my entire life. And I'm actually gonna make some more content relating to Pokemon on this channel later on, so in the coming months you will see more of that. I have at least one video scripted. It's almost all the way done, but it's my honest thoughts on Pokemon Sword and Shield, so if you would like to see more content like that, then let me know. Leave a like, all that good stuff. But anyway, how do I feel about the new information that the Direct presented? So this isn't going to make a lot of sense, obviously, if you haven't seen the Direct. The Nintendo Direct presentation or whatever, I suggest you go look at it, especially if you're a Pokemon fan, if you're a Nintendo fan in general, anything like that. I'm basically really excited about every single thing that they announced. Like, I feel like the Nintendo Direct dropped out of nowhere, and it just announced all of the things that no one was, you know, expecting. I feel like a lot of people were expecting it to be, you know, Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Home, that kind of thing, the things that they were kind of teasing earlier on, so like, I don't know, mid-2019, something like that, with a bigger Nintendo Direct presentation. I think that a lot of people thought that they were going to talk about that instead, but no, they completely blew all of our minds with the expansion pass, which is like basically 2 new DLC areas, and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the remake that they're doing of the original one that was on the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS, and oh my god, it's so much. Like, I was completely not expecting any of that, so it's pretty amazing. But I'd like to talk about first the DLC content that is going to be added to Sword and Shield. So when the Direct was happening, for like literally everything, I scream yelled because I was so excited about everything. Like, and that's not even me being hyperbolic. Like, I'm really lucky that there wasn't anyone else in my house at the time when I was watching the Direct, because I was so loud. I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe that this is happening. I'm a very dramatic person, just in general, because that's just who I am. And because I'm always very excited when anything new Pokemon related comes out. So I was yelling, like, at the top of my lungs, like, oh my god, this is happening, and I was so excited. Yeah, let me get into that. I was so surprised and just, like, taken aback by everything they showed. I had basically no expectations going into the Nintendo Direct, so it completely blew my entire mind. But basically, going forward, the Pokemon Company is going to release the expansion pass, which is going to add part 1 and part 2 of DLC content, basically, which is going to be the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, and both of them look pretty amazing. One is going to be focused on growth, and one is going to be focused on exploration. So that's going to be great, but, you know, if you saw the Direct, you already know that. Yeah. So some of the things that I'm most excited about everything that they showed, is that the new DLC areas have a free camera. Like, I cannot stress this enough, that needs to be, going forward in Pokemon, something that is just standard for every single area in Pokemon. I'm saying it now, maybe not like the battle areas or whatever. I think that they do a relatively good job with, you know, giving you different camera angles of the battle stuff. I think that they do a pretty good job with that, but when you're in a route, or when you're in a town, or a cave, a big body of water, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I want a free camera everywhere. Everywhere, I want a free camera in Pokemon. I think that they should do that going forward. That was one of, like, by far, one of my favorite additions to these latest Pokemon titles, Sword and Shield. The free camera in the wild area was so, like, it almost, to me, it was kind of like it made the rest of the game unplayable. Like, it was such a drastic change from, you know, the very linear style and very, like, the camera is this, it's situated here, you can't move it at all, and it's programmed to move in different ways. The fact that the wild area had it, and the wild area was so vast and expansive, and it had so much to offer, and it had the free camera on top of that, it almost made me want to exclusively stay in the wild area, just because there was so much freedom. And then in contrast, the fact that there was no free camera anywhere else just made it feel so limiting. Even though I know that the Galar region is relatively vast, honestly, and it's a big region, but the fact that there was no camera control just really... I just really hated it, honestly. Like, I would go back into a town from the wild area, like, say that I was in the wild area at the north side, and then I would go up into Hammerlock and, you know, to heal up my Pokemon or do whatever, and it would just be such a stark contrast from having the complete freedom of moving the camera around to having no freedom whatsoever. Because I want to move the camera at all times, because, like, I don't necessarily want to have the camera in the fixed space where it is. I don't know, I just want that freedom, basically. And I'm so glad that the new DLC content is going to have free cameras throughout. And another thing that's super exciting is the fact that both of these areas, I'm pretty sure, are going to be completely open world. That's absolutely mind-boggling. I think that it's going to be so amazing to see that for the first time, really, in a Pokemon game, you know, other than the wild area. But these are full, like, these are going to be relatively large areas. I think they're going to be even bigger than the wild area, even when you've unlocked everything. On to other things that I'm excited about. There were so many things. I actually think that they said something about the Isle of Armor DLC content being fun and enjoyable, or something like that, and that kind of sounds to me like it's probably going to be, like, the story of that game and all that is actually going to be easier to progress, and like, the difficulty level is going to be lower than what it was in the main story, which, I don't know, I don't mind that. I don't think that the difficulty needs to be, like, amped up to 10 or anything like that. It doesn't really bother me. But I'm super duper excited about I think I'm more excited about the Crown Tundra than the Isle of Armor because of the theme of exploration. So it sounds like what they're going to do is the Isle of Armor, which is part 1, they are going to do a very story-driven section, and then in the Crown Tundra, the second part, they are going to do a much more, they're probably going to have the world be a lot bigger, and that is going to be amazing, and it's going to be a lot more free for you to roam around, probably a little bit less story, or less, like, intensely story driven, and it's so amazing that you get both of them, and I think it's only $30 for both, and that blows my mind too. Like, it really doesn't seem like a cash grab like they have done in the past. It's really just a repackaging of the same game with some extra content, and, like, that wasn't gonna fly once again. It really feels like bringing Pokemon finally into the modern age of gaming, which is just, oh my god, I'm so, like, I can't say this enough, but like, I'm saying this way too much, but I'm so excited. I'm just absolutely ecstatic for these games. Like, I'm so freaking excited. I'm definitely gonna like the Crown Tundra stuff more because it's focused on, it's gonna be focused a lot more on exploration, doing whatever you want, you know, all that kind of freedom. I tend to really, really like open world games just because I get distracted very easily, and sometimes stories are not, I don't know, sometimes I want to play a story game, sometimes I want to play an open world game, but I can really get lost in open world games a lot more. And I think I really enjoy the freedom of that because I never really, like, I don't like being confined in a thing that I'm doing for fun, if that makes sense. So another thing I noticed in the Direct too was that they were showing a lot of the character customization options. So they were showing a bunch of the new clothing, hairstyles, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel like they were just kind of, I mean, either they're really, really excited about the customization, or they were just kind of trying to, I don't know, eat up some time so that they could make the presentation a little bit longer, but then at the same time they also wouldn't give away too much of the story. I feel like what they showed was, as far as, you know, the story and all that, explaining what was new, that kind of stuff, was like perfect. This release cycle of information has been spot on with what it should have been. So a lot of people had problems in the release cycle of Sun and Moon, where it was like, you're showing us way too much. We feel like we're not even that excited for the games anymore because we've just seen everything. And it really didn't feel like there was anything new after you watched all the trailers. Alright, so I have to say it. For the new story introduced in these games, especially in the Isle of Armor, I think that the stories in the DLC content are going to be much better than the story, like the main story that was in Sword and Shield. I didn't really care about the story all that much. Pokemon tends to not tell the best type of story. You can definitely disagree with me if you want, but just as a whole, the storytelling of Pokemon games isn't top-notch. It's not top tier. And honestly, that's not why I play Pokemon games at all. The story really feels secondary to me in a lot of Pokemon games, and so it was such a shift when they tried to like really do a story-based game in Sun and Moon, and that's probably why it felt so weird and constricting, and like everybody hated all the cutscenes and all that. I 100% hated all the cutscenes too, but shoving the story down our throats is not the way to go, obviously, because that's what they did with Sun and Moon, and I hope that they don't try and do that again in the Isle of Armor. It almost feels like they finally learned their lessons from multiple generations of fans telling them, like, hey, you need to do this differently because this is not good. It's just, you know, not good game mechanics, not good gameplay, not good story, not all this kind of stuff. And I feel like in this generation, they are finally starting to listen, which is really awesome. And that's partially why I'm so excited about all this, is because it really feels like we're being heard as fans, and that just feels really good. So I think that the new legendaries that are going to be added, which is like, oh my god, the new Regis, like the electric and dragon looking Regis, like that's, what the heck? And then the 3 legendary birds that look like the legendary trio of Kanto. Like, what the heck is going on? I'm very excited to see all of that, how that plays out, but I also wanted to talk about something else. So, going back to the Regis, they said something about being able to catch the original Regi trio. Guess who made the Regi trio? And guess which generation they were introduced in? Regigigas in Generation 4. And guess what games were the Generation 4 games? Diamond and Pearl. They were Diamond and Pearl. So, I think that this is a perfect way of them being like, hey, we are allowing you to revisit the entire story of the Regis. We're going to add in some more Regis, You know, so it's going to be not just a Reggie trio, it's going to be a Reggie 5 thing. I don't know what the 5 is. Quintuplet? I don't know, whatever. But that's going to be a perfect segue into, I'm going to say it, Diamond and Pearl remakes. I really, really think that those are going to be the next main series Pokemon games that we get. Unless you count Let's Go as a main series Pokemon game, because I wouldn't put it past them to do this release cycle basically for this year, and then next year maybe do a Let's Go game, and then the year after that do Diamond and Pearl. I don't know. They really feel like they're coming, and it's real this time. I know that we've been talking about that for many, many years. I'm honestly okay if they wait a little bit to release Diamond and Pearl remakes, because I want them to be absolutely as well done as they possibly can be. I absolutely love Diamond and Pearl. Platinum is my favorite game, has been my favorite game in Pokemon since I played it like 15 years ago or more. Oh my god, I feel old now. But like, I'm honestly okay if they take their time with these games, but if they're released next year, if they're released in 2021, it's gonna be kind of the perfect time, because they've really set us up really well for them, which is very exciting. And I also noticed in the trailer for the DLC content that they showed Garchomp, and then they showed a couple of other Gen 4 Pokemon. Like, Garchomp is very, very iconic as a Gen 4 Pokemon, because obviously it's one of Cynthia's. You know, Garchomp is the pseudo-legendary for the region. I'm really, really excited to see what they do with that, because it really seems like a lead up into Sinnoh. So, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so on to the announcement of the original Mystery Dungeon remakes. So they're going to be called Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. Long name, but that's fine. So I actually played the original Mystery Dungeon on the Game Boy Advance, which I might actually have the original game still. Like, that would be really amazing if I, like, replayed it. If I replayed the original game and then went back and played it on the Switch, like, oh my god. I'm super excited for these as well. I've actually seen somebody do the entire demo of it. I do actually have some critiques. So, I know that the game is already done, you know, obviously, because it's going to be released in only a couple of months, and the demo's out and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like the art style, I feel like they almost didn't go far enough with it. So, it's almost too similar to the original, which I know that that's probably what they were going for. You know, it's a very, like, nostalgia trip type of game, which is fine, but I don't know. I feel like they could have gone much farther with the graphics. Like, the scope and the size of the different areas and of the different Pokemon in a Mystery Dungeon game, I want it to be a lot different. Like, I want a Kangaskhan to look a lot bigger than my tiny little protagonist Mudkip. Like, say that I'm playing as Mudkip, because I will, because I love Mudkip. I heard you like Mudkips. I want it to feel like the environments are vast and big and, like, kind of mysterious, maybe. And then I also want the Pokemon to feel really big, like the big Pokemon to feel ginormous, and the smaller Pokemon to feel really small, but it doesn't look like it's gonna look like that. It's okay. I'm still gonna play these games, and I'm still gonna be very excited for it. I'll probably do a review on them later on. But yeah, on to more. Going forward, we are going to receive more information about Pokemon Home, Pokemon Sleep, the things that we thought were going to be in the Direct, and that's going to be really interesting. Pokemon Home is still highly anticipated, even though all of the National Dex controversy has been a thing in the past year. Obviously, I can't wait to transfer a bunch of my Pokemon on. So basically, what the release cycle looks like for 2020 going forward is Pokemon Home is going to be released in February, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX is going to be released in March, and then the Isle of Armor Expansion Pass Part 1 is going to be released in, I think they said late June, and then the Crown Tundra is going to be released in autumn. So that could be anywhere from September to November, but it seems like they're going to release it maybe in November, like maybe mid-November, you know, if that time period sounds familiar to anybody, that's normally when they release the main Pokemon games, like the main series, that type of thing. They released Sword and Shield, I believe it was November 15th or like November 20th, something like that, 2019, and yeah, so it seems like that's what we're gonna get for the rest of 2020, and I feel like I'm okay with it. But going on, they are probably gonna release Diamond and Pearl remakes 2021, 2022, something like that, but like we're getting them, and I'm very, very excited for that. I might actually make a video about what I'd love to see in Diamond and Pearl remakes, and the kind of pitfalls the Pokemon tends to fall into that I really don't want to see again in these games. So yeah, if you all would like me to talk about that, that would be perfect. So I'm very excited for that. I mean, when they announce that, like, I hope I get my reaction actually on camera, because that's gonna be just oof. I can't believe how loud I'm gonna yell for that one. But yeah, so those conclude my thoughts on the first Nintendo Direct of 2020. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're excited for this new Pokemon content releasing this year. Please leave a comment letting me know what you think about what was shown in the Direct, and what you thought about this type of video. I either heart or respond to nearly every single comment, so I hope that I see you in the comment section below. Also, please leave a like on this video and subscribe for more Pokemon content. I also do a lot of LGBTQ content if you are interested in seeing that. In the coming months, I will have a lot more Pokemon content coming out. I'm gonna do the Sword and Shield Honest Thoughts, and then I'm gonna do what I'd love to see in Pokemon going forward. Obviously, I'm going to update the script for that because of all this new stuff that just happened. And then I will talk about what I want to see in Diamond and Pearl remakes, because those are absolutely highly anticipated by the community and especially by me, because I loved Platinum so much. But yeah, if you'd like to see more of that kind of stuff, yeah, leave a comment down below. Please leave a like, all that. Anyway, have a great day, and I hope you all have great adventures on your Pokemon rescue teams, and on the Isle of Armor and in the Crown Tundra. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.